The last aspect of ggplot we will cover is how to display information in a grid. And to do so, we will first extract the Tampa Bay data from the COVID data source that we created on the previous page, and then display the information for the 3 counties that make up Tampa Bay in a dashboard. Now, we saw earlier how to select columns from a data frame using the subset function. In order to subtract rows from a data frame based on the value in a field, we have to use the function extract, but there is a shortcut, and here's the general syntax. So you specify the data frame, then you specify the conditions on rows, and there are a large number of different conditions you can use. The page has a link to a list of all of the operators you can use. And then you can also specify the columns you want to use. So these are the conditions on the rows, and these then are the columns you want to retrieve. So in our particular case, what that is going to look like is something like we create a Tampa Bay data frame by looking at the DF-all data frame, and then what we're going to do is we're going to only look at those rows where the county is either Hillsborough or Pinellas or Pasco. It is important that you put this comma in here, so let's see what happens when we don't use that comma. So let's try that, let's run that. And you see it generates an error because the columns have not been selected, undefined columns selected. If we put that comma in here, then we run it, then we now get a TBDF data frame. So this comma is important. In other words, even if you don't want to select any specific columns, you still have to put that column in there, that comma in there rather, because that will then select all of the columns. So now we have that data frame, and then we can try to plot this. And let's see what happens. Well, we now get a single line chart that includes all of the data for Tampa Bay and hasn't separated them out by the different countries. Fortunately, counties. Fortunately, what we can do is we can layer a call to facet wrap on top of this, and then we specify county. And essentially what this should do is take this frame and then wrap it by county. That is, create separate visualizations for each of the counties. So let's run that. And we do indeed get them wrapped by county. So we have one for Hillsborough, one for Pasco, one for Pinellas. I don't quite like it like this, but if we specify that we want this in 3 rows, then I think you'll agree we get a better looking chart. So now we have them separated out in 3 rows rather than in 3 columns, which was the default. You're going to have to do something like this for the assignment, but you may have to do a little bit of additional research to figure out exactly how to get all of this to look in the way in which I would like you to make it look in the assignment.